Wishing there was music still. Dan RadioStyle. I don't know. Whatever. I still miss it too. It was like, what song would I play for this? And I was just like, yeah. And I was like, literally, it's such a old thing I used to do. I was still like, go for the piece of equipment. Anyway. Hi, everyone. Third parties. Someone asked me about this. I thought this would be a fun one to do. And yeah, so there we go. A couple questions. And the one that they really hit me with, there was two specific questions in the comment when it came around. This is, how do we attract them? How do we remove them? Well, me being Dan RadioStyle, I couldn't possibly just answer that simple question because I always want context. And one, I don't believe anything's black or white. I always believe there's shades of gray in everything. I just do. So maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe it's not, but at least it helps you understand where I'm coming from. Now, how we attract them, that's a really outstanding question. One that a lot of us can attest to. A lot of us can say we've done this before, self-included. And how it typically manifests, third parties. Now, there's a few scenarios, so I'm going to throw out the scenarios because I know a lot of people are like, everyone's us pushed out, but they're actually still their own person, right? So if they're going through their own soul evolution, their own purpose in life, their own reason why they're here, and potentially you're not part of that, and you might not be, and I'm sorry. I mean, that's a percentage, small one probably, but that is always a possibility that their life path and your life path just don't belong together anymore for any number of reasons. Any number of reasons. Find them in 20 years and look back and be like, oh my gosh, that's why. See, that's what's going to happen. It's hindsight's 2020. So in those cases, third parties are necessary. Has to happen. You guys need a way to divide and move on. And third parties are the only way that can truly happen sometimes. That or death, which that's pretty extreme. So let's not throw that one into the mix. But this is a scenario, not for you. No. You're different. Of course you are. But I'm just saying, some people, a percentage of people will never go together and don't belong together and shouldn't be. And it's our higher selves making sure we don't walk off the cliff. That's what that is. It's definitely there. A lot of us, I've been there where I know, I want to have it. I know best. And then a little bit down the road, one, I meet someone that's just like, oh my God, I never thought I could meet someone like this. Or two, other person was so crazy. I love crazy. They always know where I'm at. So whatever, that's my world. That's where I live. But we also can attract them from other ways. So sometimes, and I'll cover that one last, but sometimes it is an issue of us being scared, us being insecure, us having issues like that, us constantly thinking that someone else is going to come into the picture. What that means, when you say, I think somebody else is going to come into the picture, you are acknowledging that you're not better, that you're not the choice, that you are not exactly what they're looking for, that you're self-love, that you're feeling insecure. If the question's there is an insecurity aspect, because otherwise the answer is a fundamental, well, of course he would be with me. Of course. And if he chooses not to, that's fine, because of course that's all right as well. But of course I'm good enough. What, huh? That's not, like, the question might pop into my head once in a while, and I'm not saying I'm Mr. Great and Wonderful, but I'll tell you this much. I have to believe I'm a pretty decent guy. I have to believe I'm smart enough. I have to believe I'm funny enough. I have to believe I'm intelligent. I have to believe that, because if I don't, who's going to? And don't do it in an arrogant way. It's not like that. It's just knowing that, yes, I am good enough for this. Yes, I am good enough for them. Of course I am. Because if you're not, you don't view yourself well enough. It's not someone else's job to see your greatness. It's your job to see your greatness first, and then others will eventually catch on. That's it. You come first. You figure it out first. You show it first. You be it first, and others will catch on. So, how do we attract them? A lot of us, insecurities. A lot of us, fear. Those are the two big ones. Afraid I'm going to get hurt, so I try to do things carefully. We'll actually open ourselves up to doing things that we really aren't comfortable with and don't want to, in sort of an unhealthy way. I've seen this happen before in some of the people I've talked to, where they were being asked to do things that they were way, way outside of their okay zone, but their fear of losing them, or their fear that they'll cheat again, because they're not exciting enough. Like, there's a lot of scenarios that come into play. Third parties get brought in oftentimes because we'll allow it. Or, I mean, again, they're different scenarios. You know, if you're in a relationship and a third party comes into play and it's happened more than once, there's really something that's got to, like, maybe it's time to be like, no, this relationship, I'm going to be in a monogamous relationship. That's who I am here to be. Third parties aren't okay. So again, gray, everything's gray, because in that scenario, it's like, maybe you ought to get away. Maybe you should stop. But third parties come into play because there's usually some sort of imbalance in our self-worth. There's usually something there. Now, that covers a good middle section, right? Sometimes people shouldn't be together. Okay, sorry, not you. You're probably in the middle, right? If that's probably, I mean, you really probably are. If you're consciously, actively watching videos on law of attraction and things like that, you're obviously trying to figure it out. So you're probably more in the middle. There is the other side, though, where, and this could be you for sure as well, like this section as well. And this is one that a lot of people forget, frankly. And everyone is so pushed out. I mean, I just hear it much. I don't know if everyone believes that, because I know I definitely hear people that don't necessarily buy that same mantra exactly the same way. So I'm not trying to offend anyone on that. But for that whole idea out there are, believe it or not, scenarios where people need to experience things that maybe you can't do. It's outside of your comfort zone, and should be, mind you, right? Should be. Or it's an area of interest that is forbidden, poo-pooed, something that you just don't know anything about and aren't interested in, but they are. There could be an experience. I've seen addiction circles play out where you go in and go out and you kind of experience it. Smoking cigarettes is even an example where you kind of get that same addiction, and then at some point you've got to stop it, and it kind of helps you understand that concept. I'm not saying that's okay. I'm just saying that's a really weird scenario why people sometimes get into third parties. But there's sometimes like a life path that they need that you can't give them. And, you shouldn't be like, well, I should be able to give them everything. No, if they want to go down a drug-induced coma so they understand why you don't do that, you shouldn't necessarily follow them into hell. Wait for them, be like, no, I love you. When you get done with that, I'll be over here. I love you that much. I'm going to let you do your little third party thing, and we'll kind of go from there. So there are scenarios where third parties can come into play because they need to. Like the other side, they need to because there's no chance and shouldn't. And then on this side, because they need to experience something that you can't do. Doesn't mean they're not coming back to you, doesn't mean they can't come back to you, and doesn't mean that wasn't really, from a higher self standpoint, their intention going into this little moment. So sometimes third parties really are a benefit. Now, the question, how do we remove them? Well, first off, you don't remove things from your life, because by removing things from your life, you're thinking about those things. Kind of what Anya and I were just talking about in the video we put out a couple days ago. What you're focusing on, you keep creating. Doesn't matter if you're trying to negate that thing you're focusing on, you keep looking at it. You're like, you, go away, go away, go away. Go away. I know you'll go away the second I stop looking at you, but you won't go away. Like, you have to look away and be like, okay, I'm not looking at you. So now anyway, look over here. So you're focused on something else, and you let it go away by not focusing on it. Okay, there's that. I mean, that's the reality of it. Okay, how do you get to that in your mind? Like, well, do I think of other things? Sure, affirmations are working. You can go to a certain happy place, like I joke with Peter Pan. Go to get your bag of marbles, right, and go to your happy place and fly, right? Like, do whatever you can do. I mean, affirmations, as said, help. It's even if it's happening right now, and you're like, but I'm working on myself. It's fine. Stop focusing on it so much. Yeah, maybe you created something, and maybe it's going to take a few weeks to work out. Again, you love this person so much, you're letting them go through this because there's something outside of it. Or maybe you did push them there through your insecurities. Relax, give them a second, because really, this is the important part for all of us to remember. We talk about self-love, right? You're telling me right now, but yes, I've done my self-love. Why is he still on a third party? You're asking me this question right now, of course, because you've worked on yourself. Let me ask you this question. Are you the best choice? Are you the best choice? Are you the best choice for them? What's your answer? No? Do you doubt it? Or yes, I know it? What is your answer? Because the answer to that question is how you remove somebody. If you are the best choice, then you fall into that category over here on the side. They need to go through this. It's all right. They're coming back to me because, duh. And I can't be like Skanko over here. Or I can't be like, right? Because we all have our nicknames for the third party, don't we? But I can't be that. But I am who I am, and that's what he loves, or that's what she loves, and I know that. Or maybe she's scared. That just reminded me of a friend of mine that someone that I did coaching, if you're watching, Nick. But, sometimes even when they're scared, right? Like, just be the guy. Be the rock. Be that. For you, that's what I see. So just be that love, man, and she'll get there. Third parties don't matter because eventually you love them so much, you're being that energy, you're being safe, you're being comfortable, you're being whatever, and now you're approachable. Now we can talk. Now we can have a relationship again now that this whole little issue has been resolved in my life. So how do we remove it? Are you the best choice? Well, then if you're the best choice, of course they're coming back. They have to. There's no other outcome that can occur, right? So at some point, this has to end. And it's happening for whatever reason. And I love them so much, and I love myself so much, that I think this is probably best for all of us right now. There's a lesson in this for all of us. And you know what? That's fine. I love you. I'm going to learn that about this experience because there's not a lot of scenarios you can put yourself in life where you're literally still like, but I still love him. Dang. Whoa. Why? With all this going on, I still would forgive and love. I mean, they didn't cheat maybe, right? Maybe you broke up legitimately. Maybe you said you're fat and ugly, and then they broke up and walked away and then started dating someone else that didn't think they were fat and ugly, and you're like, no, I was kidding. I didn't mean it. Right? If we go through all of our changes, if we evolve, if we look inside and figure out where was I pushing them there, where was I playing my part, whatever we want to say, however much acceptance of blame you want to take, and I'm not saying it's all yours, but I'll guarantee you a bunch of it is. So how much of that blame we take, how much of that internal looking do we go like, yeah, no, I could have been better. I could have been better. Could have been a better girl, could have been a better boy, could have been a better whatever, a better lover, a better father, a better friend, a better listener. Was there something you got out of it? Because if not, you're going to repeat it. I promise. And I've been in cycles too. There was one girl I broke up 8 times. 8 times. We almost got back together again. And I'm like, you are like the greatest thing that is horrible for me. I'm sorry. No, we can't do this anymore. I wanted to. Also, I would have gone. I don't know. We got to the point where I think it was the longest we stayed together was a month, and then it got down to like 2 weeks, and then it was like, I think by the shortest one, I think it was about a day and a half we stayed together. Needless to say, obviously certain things brought us back together, and then it was like, why did I do this? Like both of us are probably like, So if we haven't learned the lesson, the cycle will repeat. Sometimes rinse, lather, repeat. At some point, you got to stop. Otherwise, you're stuck in the shower still right now watching this video, and you can't figure out when you're supposed to get the heck out of the shower and stop rinsing and lathering and repeating. Give yourself a chance. Hopefully this helps. Oh, yeah, I covered it all. I had one last little note, but I was already talking about it. It's Dan RadioStyle. If you guys like what I do, please share, comment, thumbs up, likes, all that good stuff. Subscribe would be great if you haven't done that already. Sometimes you got to log in with an account, which is a pain in the butt. So if you don't got one and you just like watching me, then hey, figure out how to come back to my channel every day. I appreciate all of you guys. You're the best. Love you. And more shows coming your way. Throw comments. This was another request from somebody out there, and it's a great question. And oftentimes a lot of you guys have questions that many others have as well. So hope you all have happy holidays. If you don't watch any more videos of mine before Christmas time, but certainly would love to see you have come back prior to that, because I guarantee you I'll be doing some before Christmas. Thank you so much, guys. You're the best. Bye.